Hey guys, so today we're going to talk a little bit about cadence sensors versus torque sensors. So these are the two ways in which your bike can tell that you're pedaling and then tell the motor to help you out. So with electric bikes, you got the throttle, which allows you to just push a button and go, usually a thumb throttle or a twist throttle, just like a motorcycle or like hitting the gas pedal on a car. But here, with electric bikes, the motor will engage as you're pedaling, and there's two ways that your bike can sense and know, electronically speaking, that you're pedaling, so it tells the motor to help you out. The cadence sensor is it's just that, it's the cadence, so it's the rotations of the crank or the pedals. So as you're pedaling, just the sheer motion of those pedals going in circles will tell the motor to continue to engage based on your power level. So this just goes around in circles, and it's a less high definition sensor, so it might be almost like a quarter or half rotation, and it's down to like a half a second or so. Now, a lot of people like that because once it kicks on, it's like go. It's a little bit more like a throttle as you're pedaling. Whereas if we go over here to the torque sensor, it's a little bit smoother and more intuitive. So some people might miss that like kick-on engagement that we've always grown to love with the feel the power of Magnum. This is going to be more subtle as you go into it. So it actually doesn't have a cadence sensor. So it's not measuring the rotations, it's actually measuring the pressure. So it's how hard you're pushing on the pedal itself. So the harder you're pushing, like the more you feel your muscles in your legs and that pressure on the bottom of your foot onto the pedal itself, that's what this sensor is measuring. A couple other things that are important to point out and differences between a cadence sensor and a torque sensor is kind of how it preserves your components on a bike in a way. So a torque sensor isn't going to dump the power in so much. It's one way I like to sometimes describe it is a cadence sensor is more like an on-off light switch, where it's like it's on or it's off. Like you still have your power levels, whereas over here with the torque sensor, it's more like a dimmer switch. So it's gonna ramp up and down, and what that causes or what that allows for is you're not going to be using your battery as much, or it uses your battery more efficiently. So it's not going to jerk you forward, which then might cause you to use your brakes right away. So it's also going to preserve your brakes as well. And your battery lasts longer on a ride, maybe life of the battery as well as your mechanical components all around. It's also going to encourage you to shift your mechanical gears a little bit more to really get the most out of the torque sensor and what it's sensing. Additionally, it's worth noting that this is a pricier component. I mean, this is higher end technology. It's measuring down to the milliseconds and feeding in more intuitive power. So if you notice a little bit of a price difference between some of our bikes that have a cadence sensor versus a torque sensor, that'll be part of that's partially why right there.